Hi, and welcome to part one of two videos where we'll be exploring verbal and non-verbal communication in business speaking. Think of this situation where you see a manager smiling and speaking enthusiastically as she tells her employees they're fired. Situation doesn't seem appropriate. You're probably thinking the manager is quite evil. The way you speak and look is very important, especially in work or business contexts. By the end of this video, you'll be able to identify different methods of verbal communication and utilize appropriate verbal communication strategies for effective business speaking. Business speaking situations can range from face-to-face meetings, interviews, presentations, public speaking, and even phone calls. Here's a list of the most common types of verbal communication. Remember, they enhance the message we're trying to convey, albeit in a positive, negative, or neutral way, intentionally or unintentionally. We must be aware of how we use these. So, how do we do this in the right way? Well, let's look at some of the major features of verbal communication. In previous videos, we covered how language, tone, and style can determine how messages sound and are delivered. But let's focus on how other features can affect your business speaking. Intonation basically describes the rising and the falling of your pitch of our voices. Someone who uses good intonation sounds interested and enthusiastic or motivated. Intonation can be used to express the feeling and emotion in our voices. If you use flat intonation, it can sound uninterested, and this can actually be a barrier to communication. People feel you sound bored or you're boring. Varied intonation gives a human element to our communication, for example, if we want to give a motivational speech to employees. Using stress in speaking is when we put more emphasis on particular words or phrases. They will sound louder than the other words we speak. It's like when we underline a word in writing. Using appropriate stress can highlight key words or phrases we want our audience to remember, such as stressing the key benefits of a marketing proposal. If we use stress on all of our words, or none at all, then the audience cannot distinguish the important words or phrases you want to communicate. Pausing is basically leaving a gap of silence in between your words. Good communicators know when to pause to give time for their audience to digest the points that have been delivered. If you speak with no pauses, then the audience is more likely to miss some of your points and perhaps end up confused. Good pausing can help both the speaker and the audience. Pace is the rate at which you speak. Obviously, the faster the pace, the more words that come out of your mouth. This directly results in whether your audience is able to understand your points. A good controlled pace can help your listeners follow easily, but if you're too slow, then you may lose the attention of the audience. The best use of pace is to be controlled, but also varied. But above all, be natural to your own rhythm. Know when to slow down for important points and speed up if you're running out of time or need to move on to the next point to maintain your listeners' attention. The volume of your speech can also be used like stressing to highlight your points. The volume of your speech also depends on the physical environment or the situation you might find yourself in. At the basic level, you need good voice projection to be heard. Speaking too softly might mean some of your audience simply can't hear you. As mentioned just now, physical environment also depends how loud you speak. For example, if in a crowded boardroom or with disgruntled managers might require you to raise your voice, or in some sensitive situations such as making someone redundant, you might want to limit the volume of your speech. So let's recap. After watching this video, you should now be able to identify different verbal communication methods in business speaking and utilize appropriate verbal communication strategies for effective business speaking. Remember that our verbal and non-verbal communication enhances our message, but it can also reveal what we really think or feel about something. Both need to be controlled and coordinated well to become an effective business speaker. So, thanks for watching, and I will see you in part 2.